What's going on, everybody? This is Sabre4, and I'm going to be talking about some emerging decks from our upcoming set, Darkness Ablaze. Normally I do the best card set review first, but I don't have enough time today to be talking for hours, so I'm going to do that maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Today I just want to talk to you guys about some emerging decks. A few of them really obvious, and obviously going to be really strong. But besides those, just some other decks that might have potential or might just be decent to try out, maybe for some fun, or maybe they can even be good, depending on how you build them. Okay, so the most obvious deck, that's going to be the deck to beat, and anybody can easily deem it as the best deck coming from this set, is the Eternatus VMAX deck with Crobat. This deck is pretty much the Mega Rayquaza Shaming deck when the Roaring Sky set came out. Even though Crobat V is once per turn, which was very wise, I'm glad that that's been confirmed. This deck is still going to be really strong, really fast, has plenty of options for dark techs like Weavile GX, plenty of options for more help when you use it in Expanded, like Dark Patch and the Dark Cloak Darkrai. Just an extremely good deck that just builds itself. So this one goes without saying. Another deck that's really obvious from this set that's seen some talk is the Mat Party deck. This is like the latest Windows update to the Night March deck and the Lost March deck. Extremely similar, and this sort of deck has its fans, so I'm sure people are going to try it out and use it. And then you got the Centicroach VMAX deck. As you would imagine, you just run this guy, you run his basic form, Centicroach V, you run the Welder engine, all of the other fire attribute, fire specific cards you would see in decks like these, like the Fire Crystal, the Hearth, the Heat Factory, for as long as we're going to have that. And you've got yourself a deck. You can try and use Ninetales if you want to pull some other Pokemon, use that sort of option. You can use Volcanion to try and get a bunch of fire energies on it in the beginning. The fire type tactics you'd expect. But this guy is special because he's a VMAX Pokemon, so he's got large ass HP. He can do very high damage as long as you have enough fire energies on him. But the difference between it and other Pokemon like Reshiram Charizard GX is that you can sort of snowball and go there. He can start doing solid damage even from the beginning by just one welder play with 2 or 3 fire energies, and then you can power him up from there. Now, a cool deck you might want to try to counter Eternators and other Darkness decks, there's going to be plenty with this set, is using the Rhyperior V in this set and combining it with Coalsol or even something like a Groudon from the Cosmic Eclipse set. I think he's from Cosmic Eclipse or Unified Minds, whatever, but the best Pokemon is probably Coalsol. He has excellent HP for a regular V Pokemon, 230, and both of his attacks are really good. He can do 80 for 3 and consistently discard an energy from your opponent. And his big attack doing 210 ensures that he will always kill Eternatus because of the weakness. So that's a really good thing he has going for him. Since he's a fighting Pokemon, you can also use Diancie and make his attack do 230. So you can even take care of Pokemon like Zacian V or other just regular V Pokemon. So for as long as we have Diancie, he's got that sort of edge too. You've got the Fighting Dojo to boost your damage even further, especially if you're behind on prizes. So I think because of these cards, he might have potential to do something, or at least be effective against Darkness decks. You'll have to test for yourself and make it work with Coalsol, but he's definitely an excellent target for that Pokemon. Alright, next up, one of my favorites, and I never thought I'd say this, but the Charizard Vmax here. So this guy's another fire Pokemon with large HP, and this insane 300 damage attack with 5 energies, 3 of which need to be fire. Obvious stuff is to use Welder and use like Volcanion, all the stuff that I mentioned, but his attack cost is so large that it's probably not worth it. The reason that I like him though, if you guys know me, you know that I'm going to try and use this guy with Emboar in Expanded, and it should be fun. His HP is really large, first attack isn't so great, but whatever. He's just the perfect type of Pokemon to use with Emboar. Large fire energy attack, you discard energies while you attack. It should be really cool. So if I get him, you best believe I'm going to show this guy with Emboar and Expanded. Another similar thing you can do with energy acceleration is with the Solmon Vmax right here. This guy is just a colorless Pokemon. Its energy costs are all colorless, so you can try and use this with any Pokemon that gives you energy acceleration. You can do Coalsol, you can do Rillaboom, you can do whatever. You can use triple acceleration energies, DCs, and Expanded. You can just build this guy in many different ways. He does solid damage too, not as much as Charizard, but he's definitely easier and more flexible to power up. So it's another cool Pokemon that maybe some people are going to want to look into. Salamence, of course, my personal favorite Pokemon. This is also something that I'm interested to use if I get it. Now, for the tank deck lovers, the Galarian Stunfix V here is easily the best tank sort of Pokemon and one of the best ever. This damn Pokemon pretty much has the same ability that the old Conkeldurr had, that you attach fighting energies and it gets more HP per fighting energy. This guy does this for metal. So for each metal energy you have, gets 20 more HP. There is no limit. We won't be having the Ultra Prism Metal Magnetism forever, but for as long as we have him, you could use it with this guy and build yourself a tank deck. And if you manage to, you can even slap in the Milotics from this set that heal all of your Pokemon for 20 damage. I was originally going to mention Milotic with the Dreadnought Vmax, since it's a water Pokemon. Its ability makes him the sort of best Vmax water tank, you could say. But they excluded that from our set. They actually excluded a couple of cards. But yeah, you can try and use Milotic with Stunfisk. You can try and use Milotic with a lot of different Pokemon actually. Maybe Copperjaw even, Lucario and Melmetal. The point is you get a bunch of these Milotics out and you can have mass healing to all of your Pokemon. It can be pretty strong if done right. But yeah, back to Galarian Stunfisk, just a very good tank Pokemon. Metal, can use all of the metal tank options like the Frying Pan. You can use Lucario Melmetal's GX attack to help his defenses further. Expect tactics from the metal attribute, the metal type you could say. We got Scizor Vmax for another big metal Pokemon you could say. This is a Vmax, 320 HP, and it can block 30 damage if you use its 90 attack, 2 for 90 attack every time. It's got a solid 190 for 3 attack, no drawbacks, nothing. So another tank option, I suppose. You can just do the same old shit you would do with the Copperjaw decks, with Lucario Melmetal, Frying Pan, all that stuff. And just use this guy too. Oh, before I forget, the Melisaucer of course is compatible with both of them, so you can try and power them up. Power up this guy, power up Stunfisk too. So it's another bonus they have. Moving on to Vikavolt V. This Pokemon is basically Seismitoad EX, but you won't be able to slap a DC and do this attack. You're basically going to have to want to dig for the Thunder Mountain if you want to do this as soon as possible. Just put a Lightning Energy and start doing this for 150. Get the item lock. I guess maybe Tabu Koko Prism if you can do some switching stuff too. But the point is that in Standard and Expanded, you can try and build this deck around this guy as the Seismitoad deck was. I don't know how effective it's going to be, but item lock is really strong always. And as a lightning Pokemon, this guy gets to take advantage of the lightning cards you guys know and love or hate. Has a solid 190 attack, 2 for 3, HP is decent, the bottom stats are sort of typical I suppose. Here's a good card if people figure out a way to use it and get the item lock. Obviously they weren't going to go crazy and let you do this for 1 energy. But you can definitely do things. I mean, you can put the charge energies on its ass and draw cards too. Just another strategy you could try if you're interested in item lock decks. And for the last V/Vmax Pokemon, we got this Grimmsnarl Vmax. This guy pretty much is just a really scary motherfucker. That's it. I wasn't even aware there was a Hydreigon that has the energy acceleration, the Rain Dance energy acceleration for darkness energies too. But it's the case with our English sets. They always put in a bunch of promos and stuff that I'm not aware of when I'm reviewing just the Japanese mini sets. And if you can get this guy going, he's going to be really strong. Obviously another darkness Pokemon. He's going to be even nastier and expanded thanks to Dark Patch and all the other cards. High damage, large HP, darkness Pokemon, gets all the darkness support. I think it's just pretty obvious. Now that I mentioned Hydreigon, I basically just found out about this guy while doing research for this video. I mean, obviously, you can power up darkness Pokemon with this guy. Pokemon that use darkness energies, there's a lot of them around. I don't just want to give some shitty examples like Mega Sableye, Tyranidar, and those kinds of Pokemon. But there's probably somebody that this guy can really just exploit. And it's going to be a strong sort of Rain Dance darkness deck, you could say. My kind of tactic, energy acceleration through a stage 2. I mean, fuck, you can even use this with something like Salamence that I just mentioned. So yeah, insert Hydreigon and insert X darkness Pokemon over here, and you got a deck. Keep that to your consideration. Okay, and for the last 2 decks, these are going to be basically just decks revolving around regular-ass stage 2 Pokemon. There's a bunch in this set, but I just picked out the 2 ones that I think probably have the most potential. You got EyetoEye first. To be honest, I'm not too thrilled with this guy because of boss's orders and because there's ways to play around him. You know, usually Pokemon like this, they seem good on paper, but they're difficult to use. People always find ways to play around them. I suppose if you build a deck around this guy and it's all you have on the bench, like this EyetoEye, then maybe your opponent, even with boss's orders and shit, they won't be able to play around it. But I don't like that it's, you know, like its regular stats besides this ability are kind of weak, like 140 HP. This is fucking like prime HP, like black and white days HP. It's really weak. The attack, I mean, I guess it's decent. You do 90 for 2 and then 20 on 2 different bench Pokemon. So that's like what, 130 for 2? It's alright, it's not great, but what are you going to expect for 2 energies? I'm not its biggest fan, but maybe people are going to figure out a way to make it work. And it's just going to be an anti-meta deck, you could say, an anti-meta choice. If you really hate GX and V and VMAX Pokemon, maybe you can build a deck around this guy. And then the last Pokemon, this one I find a lot more interesting, is this Tyranidar, fighting Tyranidar, really cool. This guy has 180 HP for a regular stage 2. It's got 2 really good attacks, like 120 for 3, auto discard a stadium. And then his really good attack, doing 250 for 4. It's gonna KO a lot of shit. It's a fighting Pokemon, so it's always gonna kill Eternatus. So it has that thing going for it, like Rhyperior, sort of hitting Darkness Pokemon for weakness. And for 4 energies, it's not gonna be that difficult to power up, man. I mean, its milling cost is hell, but fuck, I mean, if you can just get like 2 major KOs and just get like 6 prizes just like that, you're gonna win. 250 with the Ansi's 270. If you make use of the Fighting Dojo, it can even go up to like 310. You slap in one of those little muscle bands that just give 10. You got a really scary stage 2 on your hands here, man. I mean, it's no doubt it's not going to be very consistent. It's going to be difficult to use. But when it comes to regular stage 2 Pokemon, I think this guy has the biggest potential from this set. But anyways, these are the emerging decks that I could think of, guys. I didn't just want to list everything from the set. There's a lot of strategies you can try out. But these are just some of the decks that stand out to me that I'd be interested in building. You got the top 3, like I've said, that people expect the most out of. Eternatus, Mad Party, and Centicroach. I really like Rhyperior. I think Charizard is going to be really cool with Emboar. Some of the other decks that I talked about are interesting too. It sucks that we don't get Dretnaw. That would have been nice with Milotic, but this is one hell of a set. Like seriously, it seems like this is going to be one of the best sets of all time. Darkness Ablaze has Hydreigon, the Eternatus, sort of Rayquaza, Stage 2s, all the other Pokemon. It just has a lot of shit, man. A lot of strong shit. So be prepared for it. Anyways, these are some of the emerging decks that I wanted to talk about. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys subscribe, leave a like, share this video with your friends. Tell me what you guys think in the comments about these decks. What are some of your favorites? Maybe some other emerging decks that I didn't talk about in this video. Just tell me what you guys think. But thank you guys for watching. Cerebral 4. We'll say